Good morning and welcome to Watching the W here on the For Frequency Sake Podcast Network. My name is Doug Green. You may have remembered me from the W. If not, then welcome aboard. So we are here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the new Unrivaled 3-on-3 league that just dropped this weekend. Very excited about that. But we're going to talk some basics about it, kind of how it got started, what's going on. Then we'll get into the games. They've already got 2 days worth of games under our belts. We've got 4 games already played. So that is what we are going to chat about this morning. Very excited to talk about all of this. So first up, like I said, it is a brand new league. So we're going to start right from the get-go in terms of all of that. So it was basically founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. Brianna plays for the New York Liberty. Nafisa plays for the Minnesota Lynx. They both played together at UConn. B was actually Stewie's freshman. So when they are there, you have a freshman that you guide kind of through their years, kind of help them get up and running. And during that time, they became friends, and now they are business partners and co-founded this league. So it is a 3-on-3 league. It is played on a full court. We'll talk more about kind of the rules later. But it's a 3-on-3 league, women's 3-on-3 league. And basically the purpose of it is to make sure that WNBA players don't need to go overseas during the offseason to continue to make money and get to play basketball. So one of the downsides of the WNBA, it's a shorter season, but the women in that league aren't necessarily, they're clearly not paid equivalent to what the men in the NBA are. And so a lot of times in the off season, the ladies would go to Europe, to Russia, to overseas and play basketball, play professional basketball over there to earn more money and get more reps and experience and, just to play and get paid. And unfortunately, there was some hiccups along with that. The whole Brittany Griner situation that everybody's kind of well aware of kind of was, maybe not the impetus for this, but definitely was a factor in my mind of pushing this kind of forward. And so basically what happened now is they said, hey, we want to keep all of these amazing women basketball players. We want to keep them stateside. We want to pay them a good wage to keep them here. And then also, too, the founding 36 women, they also get equity into this league. So as this league continues to grow, they will continue to make money on it. So that's a really nice thing here. So I think the minimum salary for this, I want to say I saw it was like $222,000, which is crazy for a 2-month league. So it's really good. It's kind of accomplishing all of those goals. So it's keeping them in the United States. They're playing in Miami. They built a brand new facility down there, and it looks amazing. They have the court, they have the practice courts, they have a world-class training facility, world-class weight room. So it's really a nice facility down there. There is daycare provided. They've got brands that are sponsoring them. Sephora's come in. They've got a whole makeup room, a glam thing that they've got going on that all the women seem to love. So it's great. It's just really a good experience. And a lot of folks are saying that it's kind of now going to force the WNBA to kind of step up their game, because WNBA has kind of been the only show in town for a while. So some places have been half-assing it, to be quite frank. Chicago, I'm looking at you. And now what the Unrivaled has done is put pressure on these WNBA teams. And they're saying, look, we went out, started, and got all of this stuff, all these really good things, all these really good facilities. We're paying them a competitive wage. Why can't you do it as an established league? And so people are looking at it and going, this is really, really good. This is better than the things that I've been compared to that I was told was the best in the world. So it's opening some eyes and changing some minds, I think, which I think is only good for women's professional basketball. So I think this is a great, great thing. If you want to see more about it, go to the Unrivaled YouTube page. Stewie's been on there talking about the league and all the people doing all of the work behind the scenes, all of their marketing folks. Their marketing people are killing it. You've got to go see if you're on Threads, go over there, check out all of the teams, the league. It's all great. They were doing some really good stuff on TikTok. Obviously, that is dead as of this morning, but they were doing some really fun stuff on Instagram and Threads. Go check them out. They're not on Blue Sky. They've got an account, but they're not really using it. So if you really want to kind of interact with them, Threads and Instagram are the really kind of two ways to go. So basics of the league, there are 6 teams with 6 women on each team. I still haven't learned all of the teams yet or who's on what. So we're going to run through them real quick. So the 6 clubs, 6 teams are the Laces, the Mist, the Rose, the Lunar Owls, the Phantom, and the Vinyl, which I don't know how I feel about those team names, but it is what it is. But that is the name of the teams. And basically, what was one of the great things about this was they actually did their draft, their inaugural draft live, semi-live. They put it up on YouTube. It was supposed to be live. It really wasn't. But you at least but you got to watch it. They filmed it and you got to watch it. So you got to see how the 6 coaches picked the teams. So all 6 coaches basically got together and they picked the teams before they knew who they were going to coach. So basically there was a player draft and then there was a coach draft. And so they went through and they picked and they created the teams. And then later on, the coaches got assigned to those particular teams, which was really kind of a fun process to watch. They went through, they put them all together based upon who could help who grow, who had previous relationships with one another, whose styles kind of fit together really well. It was really kind of an interesting, a really kind of interesting process to watch that. Again, if you go on Unrivaled YouTube and watch that, it's really fascinating to watch that, and then you see all the coaches kind of get put together. I will be completely honest with you and tell you I did not know 5 of those 6 coaches at all. No idea who any of them were. The only one I know was Teaspoon, who was obviously the Sky coach last year. The other 5, I'm still kind of learning about them. But for the moment, everybody's kind of on equal footing there with us. So what we're going to do now is we're going to walk through each of the teams. We're going to just kind of let you know kind of who is on each team, just so that you can get kind of a feel of how all this goes. So 6 women on each team, 6-person roster. So starting here with the Laces, they have Jackie Young, Tiffany Hayes, Kayla McBride, Alyssa Thomas, Kate Martin, and Steph Dolson. I got to just keep jumping back and forth, so I apologize here. From the Mist is Stewie, Dejanay Carrington, Sloot, Jewel Lloyd, Aaliyah Boston, and Rakea Jackson. And they are coached by Phil Handy. And let me jump back and I'll let you know the Laces are coached by Andrew Wade. The Rose have Angel Reese, Chelsea Gray, Azrae Stevenson, Kalia Copper, Brittany Sykes, and Lexi Hall. And they are coached by Nola Henry. And she just got hired to be the Wings assistant coach here this week. Next up is the Lunar Owls. So they have Nafisa Collier-Fee, Courtney Williams, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Alicia Gray, Shakira Austin, and Cam Brink, who is obviously not playing this season while she rehabs that knee injury. But she was there. She was working out with them. She was building the camaraderie. You saw her take some shots. You can see that the rehab's on the way. But obviously, she's not going to play this season to keep rehabbing that knee and make sure that she doesn't injure it any further. They are coached by DJ Sackman. Next up is the Phantom. Their players are Satu Sabali, Marina Mabry, Brittany Greiner, Natasha Cloud, Katie Lou Samuelson, and Sabrina Unescu. They are coached by Adam Harrington. And then last but not least are the vinyl. They have Enrique Ogunbowale, Ray Burrell, Ryan Howard, Aaliyah Boston, Jordan Canada, and De'Erica Hamby. And they are coached by the aforementioned Teresa Witherspoon. So that is all of the folks that are kind of dealing with the on-court stuff, the players and the coaches. So from here, we'll jump kind of and look at the last couple of days, the on-style play, the time on court. Little different rules. Court's a little bit smaller than a standard court. I can't remember the exact dimensions. Again, they have an Instagram clip kind of explaining all of the rules. But there are some twists, and I really kind of like a lot of these rules. So it's a smaller court, but they are playing full court. But it's a little bit smaller of a court. It's not as wide and it's not as long. So it's a smaller court. They play 3 timed quarters. They play 3 quarters of 7 minutes each. Then the 4th quarter is untimed. And then whoever is leading at the start of the end of the 3rd quarter, they add 11 points to that total, and that is the total. That is the number of points you got to go to win the game. So a lot of these games. So let's say that at the end of the 3rd quarter, Team A is winning 70-65. That means to win the game, you need to score 81 points in the 4th. You need to get to 81 in the 4th quarter. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter how. Just whoever gets to 81 or above first wins. So it's really makes it very fun. What we've seen is we've already had a couple of games where you have these clutch, like game-winning shots. It's not technically a buzzer beater, but it's a game winner. And those have been really kind of fun to watch with those. A couple of other changes that they have. Free throws are a little different. If you get fouled shooting a 2-pointer, if you're fouled in the act of shooting and you don't make it, you get 1 free throw worth 2 points. If you get fouled shooting a 3-pointer and don't make it, you get 1 free throw worth 3 points. So the value of the shot that you took, but you only get 1 free throw. Obviously, the and ones, you only get 1 point. Technical fouls are only worth 1 point. I think we had a clear path the other day, also worth 1 point because they technically called it a technical foul. So those are kind of a little bit different on the free throws. It helps speed up the game quite a bit because you're not sitting there shooting and resetting. It was really kind of a nice touch. I really did like that, especially when we were talking on social media the other day. It did really kind of feel help speed up that game and that process. In terms of gameplay or game style, much faster. It's a much faster pace, up and down, up and down. The clock really doesn't stop except for timeouts and in the last, I think, minute of the quarters. But it's basically just up and down. People are back and forth. I love it. I noted yesterday because there's so much space, because it's a 3-on-3 game, there's a lot more steals, and then the steals lead to a lot more breakaways, which is my kind of favorite style of basketball. Just get up, get out and run. Get a steal, go out, transition game, get up, shoot transition 3, make the layup, whatever. So I'm really kind of loving the style of play. It's up, it's down, it's very fast. Now, there's a couple of teams that do play a more kind of physical, more half-court aggressive style. But for the most part, very much up and down type game. Really enjoy that. With that pacing. So it's been really kind of fun to watch. It's fun to play. Everybody seems to be really having a good time down there in Miami with this style of play. So that's basically kind of the major rule changes with those. Sub in and out. They do get 6 fouls, but I think if for some crazy reason, if you have, let's say your first 3 people foul out, so you're down to your last 3, and then somebody else commits a 6th foul, then they can continue to play. So you can't play 2-on-3. That's kind of the rule, basically, because it's a short bench with those. But I haven't seen that come to fruition yet, but that is something that they did look at and did at least think about, which is pretty good with those. But they've done an excellent job marketing these things. The teams are doing a great job marketing them. the social media presence has just been amazing to watch. They have funny content, serious content. It's been really good stuff to watch. So if you're really into women's basketball or basketball in general, it's a really good product, and it's really interesting to watch. As for the play on the court, we've only had 4 games under our belt. They played 2 games Friday. They played 2 games Saturday. They're going to take today, Sunday off, and they're going to play 2 games tomorrow. So the schedule is always going to be 2 games on Friday, 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday, 2 games Monday is their schedule. And then in the middle of the season, what will happen is the season will stop. They're going to have a one-on-one tournament, which I think is going to be amazing to watch. And then basically they'll crown a one-on-one champion, then they'll resume the season. That'll be kind of their all-star break. And then they'll resume the season with the 3-on-3 tournament. So that'll be really kind of fun to watch. But in terms of the gameplay that we've seen so far this weekend, we've seen a lot of really good basketball. Like I said, it's been fun. It's been up and down. The Lunar Owls have played 2 really good games. They looked really, really good. This is Skylar Diggins-Smith after 2 games. After 2 days of this league is looking like your MVP. She has played out of her mind. She played really. She scored a ton of points. She's hit both game winners for them. One was a 3-pointer, and then one was just like a 2-point free throw, which was a little anticlimactic. But she is leading the league in game-winning shots. So it's a good league. It's very competitive. They did have one game that was a little bit lopsided. It was yesterday. It was the Phantom and the Vinyl, I think. That got to be a little bit kind of lopsided. But most of these games, even if they get to be like 10, 12 points, the other team will kind of come back. We saw that in the very first game. Whatever the initial game was, whatever game 1 was, I think it was the Mist and the Owl. I think it was the Mist and the Owls. They were up, and the Mist was up, and they were leading, and then all of a sudden, the Owls came back, and they actually ended up winning the game. They were actually down heading into the 4th quarter. So it's very competitive with these things, which is nice to see. You're not getting these 12 and 15 point victories. It's kind of boring. The games are close. The basketball is good. The play is exciting. The vibe around it is really good. It's a small arena. I think they said it was 850 seats there. So it's a small arena, small crowds, but it's really kind of cool to see because you can really kind of feel the energy in the place. But it's an exciting brand of basketball to watch. And if you enjoy the WNBA, I definitely think this is something you need to check out. Even if you don't enjoy the WNBA, you just kind of enjoy up-tempo basketball, this is a good style for you. I think the fact that it's full court as opposed to half court is a good draw. If you watch the 3-on-3 in the Olympics this year, it was all half court. Wasn't as big of a fan of that. It was just it was a little stopped to me. It didn't have the flow, and I think that's because it wasn't the full court. The full court really allows the getting up and running back and forth. So I do really enjoy the full court version of that. They've already got plans for a season 2. Obviously, they're going to go ahead and continue this on. They've already got Paige Beckers and Flau'jae Johnson on board. Juju Watkins is a investor, and that's who you got to assume that she's going to play when she is eligible. You will notice I didn't mention a couple of big names here on the rosters. Asia Wilson is not playing. Caitlin Clark is not playing in this league, and that's totally fine. It is everybody's choice. They didn't have to play. With that, I'm actually surprised Sabrina Ionescu played because she was coming off of wrist surgery. But she's out there and she's playing. So, but like I said, Cameron Brink, she was there, she was practicing, but she isn't playing in the games because of the knee rehab. So obviously it's a little bit different situation for everybody. If you want to play, if you don't want to play. But they do have a lot of all-stars, really, really good competitive level of play. One of the other fun things is just to see kind of how people mesh with each other and personalities mesh in there. Obviously, when Marino was traded to Phoenix during the season, everybody already knew that she had a little bit of she could be a little confrontational in her engaged in a character and have some history, let's put it that way, together. And you can see here they're joking around, they're getting along. They're like, yeah, there was a little bit of whatever when Marina first got here, but coach was basically kind of forced us to work it out. They put us together on teams. We kind of had to deal with it, and now you can see that they're close and they're bonded, and it's really kind of a fun experience to watch them. Dijonay even gave Marina some spices to cook with, so that's been kind of funny to watch on social media. Marina's trying to cook with the spices that Dijonay gave her, and Angel Reese is checking in and letting her know what it looks like. So it's pretty amusing. They also squashed that Angel was the reason Marina wanted out of Chicago. They were like, no, that was never a thing. We've seen a bunch of photos with Angel and Teaspoon hugging each other. So it really is great. It really does seem to be a good. It's a competitive atmosphere, but they really do seem to be enjoying it and having a good time, and it really being a good culture and a good fit down there. So I really am enjoying this. I can only hope that the games are going to be just as competitive and everything is just as much fun as the first 2 days have been going forward, because this is something that I'm really enjoying and I really want to see it blossom and do even better going in the future. But I just wanted to pop in today just to say, this is something that I'm watching. It's something that I'm enjoying. And hopefully that this is only gets bigger and better from this point forward. So wanted to say thank you to everybody who watches. Wanted to thank our sponsors. Of course, Watching the W is part of the 4 Frequency Snake podcast network, and we are sponsored by Durham Remodeling, Jared Zook Financial, and Ryan Allison Tattoo. I don't know when we'll be back. We may be back next week. We may be back in a couple of weeks. I'm probably going to give it a couple of weeks just to let kind of things kind of happen here in the league. It's kind of tough, when I've only got the weekends to kind of think about this stuff and do them. But we'll probably be back at some point to talk a little bit more, if not, at least at the break, if nothing else. But we'll be back to kind of discuss this. Other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in and for listening, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.